Right, this one we're going to look at the sprite sheet, or working with the sprite sheet. Here's one that I made earlier. Really simple. When you're creating your own, make sure that they are equal spaces apart. That'll make things 100 times easier. Okay. So, let's just get this sorted. Right, you can see the program on the screen. I've already loaded that into my project. So I'm not going to look at that again. All you need to know is I've just called it chip. Yours will obviously have a different name. So the first thing I need to look at is this line here. I'm currently in the Sprite class. And in the Sprite class you have this Sprite batch object called SB. And we've got SB.draw, the method that we'll use over and over and over again. But it only has 3 things in, but you can add more. Okay? If I hit comma, don't know if you can see this, but it asks for a few things. It asks for a texture, a position, source rectangle, color, float rotation, lots and lots and lots of things. So we're going to use the one that's number 5 out of 8. And yeah, it doesn't look like you can see that then. That's a shame. I'll tell you what, we'll just program out what we need. So this rectangle here is going to be the location of where it appears on the where it appears on the game. So where is that's its location. The next rectangle is the source rectangle. So I'm just going to create a new one, just call it source rectangle. Source rectangle. I'm not going to put anything in it yet because I'm not sure what I want to do with it just yet. And after there, we'll put in that source rectangle. Next, after that, we need color, which we have, followed by rotation, which is a float. So we need a float rotation in there. Float rotation. Next is vector2 origin. Vector2 origin. What is that one? Oh yeah, that's the origin of the rotation actually. So do we want to rotate like around a point? So if you wanted it to rotate around the center of the circle, or if you wanted it to rotate around top left hand corner. I'm just going to do the top left hand corner. Which will be 0, 0. Next, Sprite Effects. If you go down to Sprite Effects, you type in Sprite Effects. Sorry about that, the stream went down, but back up and running. Where was I? So, this I was on the Sprite class, and I filled up Sprite batch.draw, this line here, and I said if I ran the game, it would break because source rectangle is empty, rotation is empty. It's not that it has 0 in it, is empty. Or maybe it will work, but it's defaulted as 0. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, actually you can see it. The game is running. But now, because of the source rectangle, it's all gone a bit peak-tongue. So, what do we need to do? First thing I'm going to do, actually, is find out where where I need to change the name of the player. Or the player's file name. Sprite. Add it into the level manager, is it? There we go. That's the file name there in the level manager constructor under player. I've just called it ship. So you're going to see that the sprite's changed. I'm going to rush and set source rectangle as new rectangle. I'm just going to put 0, 0, 50, 50, and then hit run. Right, there we go. Obviously that looks horrendous, but let's look at some. Right, okay, so that's 50 by 50. My sprite sizes for one individual sprite is and you've got to get these measurements right, is 15 by 29. 15 by 29. So this texture.width and this texture.height that I'm using is no good, because I want it to be like a very particular size. What do I want it to be? Well, it would be in the player, really, so it will be a matter of in the player class we need to set these values. So I'm going to create two new I'm going to create an integer called size x and size y, and I'm going to put them in here. Size x, size y, put them in, and going to need to have to add those to the constructor of the sprite, because I want to customize it. So let's add two integers into there. Int sx and int sy. I know what they are. I know the mean size. So size x equals sx and size y equals sy. Done. Okay, let's fix the errors now. So this is the player sprite, and the size of the player sprite, as I mentioned, I measured it. Just look on my paint there. I've selected it, and all of the ships are the same size. That's okay. So the size of that was 15 by 29. So let's try that. 15, 29, and hit run. It's not going to work because I didn't do the other ones. The bullet. How big do I want the bullet to be? Let's just make it 5 by 5. Next up is the speed power up. How big do I want that to be? 30 by 30 because I haven't made that one yet, so I'm not really bothered. And the enemies, the enemy is same, 15 by 29. Hit start. Okay, let's change their sizes, but to be honest, I think that they are all too small no matter what. So, is there a scale thing we could use? Let's have a look. So, we have texture, and then a rectangle for position, source rectangle, color, rotation, vector 2 origin, can I put 1 for scale? I had a feeling that was going to work. Sorry, that was not going to work. What am I going to use? Where can I get scale? Where do I need to put scale even? It comes after vector 2 origin. Can I not put 1F? Yes, no. Why? Can I convert argument 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one. Can I convert a vector 2 to a float? What are you talking about? Ah. What? So, according to this... it's a vector 2 for scale, apparently. Not a float. Hang on. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to put, after color.white, I'm going to put new vector 2 0, 0. I was terrified of this happening. This does suck. Now I'm looking at like pulling lots of things out, which is not what I wanted to do. Okay. More detail then. We're going to have to do texture. Now this rectangle, I'm going to have to change that to position. And see how that works. Position. And I'm going to comment out that line for now. Then, right, so after source rectangle, actually, what do we have? Yeah, source rectangle, then color. What's wrong with color.white? Can I convert color to rectangle? Okay. Let's remove position and put rectangle in there. Sorry, after position, put rectangle in there. So we have okay. It is just, I'm just looking at the order of these. Right, origin is next, so I'll cut that one out and put it there. After origin is rotation. And after rotation is scale. And then after scale is color. And after color is sprite effects. And then layer depth. Okay. That is a lot to take in there. Hit run just to see how it works. If it works. Oh, this does not look promising at all. Okay. What does it not like, do you reckon? What was the error? It says expected to draw rectangle opposition but received neither or both. So you can only have one or the other. Let's get rid of position. Oh. Okay. Let's get rid of rectangle. Ah! Crying out loud. Right. Texture. Position. Source rectangle. I'm just going to type this out again. Color dot white. Rotation 0. Vector 2 origin, that'll do. Vector 2 scale. Color. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was Vector 2 scale. Sprite effects. Hit start. Right. Okay. So, comment that out again. Okay. I think that's right. I think. But I can't really see it, can I? Ah, right. Okay, I'm gonna put a breakpoint in. I'm gonna hit run and see what's inside this line here. Color dot white. Position is 400 by 300. Sprite batch is drawn in. Source rectangle is in. It has a texture in. But its rectangle is 0. Because I'm not using that, am I? But should I be? what would happen if in my sprite class I did include that? And then hit stop, put a breakpoint in it. Okay, we'll put it in the player one. No, that's not gonna work. Not to do with any of them. It'll be to do with do you use position? Is rectangle? It does. Okay. So I always need a rectangle. What is size X at the, oh. How does shut up. Sorry about that. Shut up. Oh, why can I not do this one? So the size. Do I need that? Do I need that? This position equals start position. SB.draw. What can I draw instead? Texture. Destination rectangle, which is rectangle. Source rectangle. Color dot white. Oh, this might be, but I can't because I wanted scale, and you can only use scale. You stupid! Did I want to use scale? I wanted to use scale, and then I've set it to 0, so it's tiny, so no wonder I can't see it. One for one. What does that look like? Is that like 100% of the sprite? Yes, that's 100% of the sprites. Jesus Christ, that's no good for the bullets. Looks pretty cool though. That doesn't look cool. Okay. So this source rectangle line up here. This is what we're going to use to set the size of size. Come on. Size X and size Y. Yeah, that's the size of that one individual sprite. Way. Like it. Like it. Okay. This line is now redundant, I think. No, it isn't. It isn't redundant. We're using that for collisions. That's always updating for collisions and stuff. So keep that in. And apparently something to do with the bullet, because the bullet gets the rectangle rather than position, which I'm gonna have to look at, I think. Right. So now we can do some fun stuff with the sprite to get it animated. I'm going to double the size, but that'll double the size of all of them. So let's only just double the size of the one. I'm going to put a new one into the constructor. Float scale. And in here, I'll set them both as the same value, because I'm going to have them always be the same thing. I actually didn't make that a variable. I just added the constructor, so I need to add that as well. Float scale. Then that would be, because they're both the same name, this dot scale equals scale. Right, how big is this one? It's the bullet. I'll set it as 1. The player size, set that as 2. 3. See what 3 looks like. The power up, not there. There, 1, and this one, 2. Right. Okay. So let's make this the ship a bit more visible. Knock the scale up. Cool. That didn't collide. Where? Right, hang on. Kill 5. But it doesn't collide on the... Oh, right. That is a problem. So I'm using this rectangle quite often for the collisions, but the rectangle is only equal to size there and there, and position is like top left hand corner, which creates the rectangle. So how could we fix that? We'll just multiply it by scale. And then pass it into an int. Cannot. Alright, there we go. Multiply those two together, then convert it into an int. Let's see if that knocks things up or makes things look really freaky. It seems to be colliding much better. Let's check. Yes, much better. Same again. What about the bottom collision? Got that. Cool. That's sorted that issue. Right. So we've got to play around with this source rectangle. Here is the top left hand corner of so if I look at paint, I'm just going to bring that paint onto the screen, and if this here is 0, 0, 15, 29, then the next chunk, that won't be 0 anymore, and that's what I want to do. I want to like change the X position. Let's bring Visual Studio back on, and do a bit of maths alongside it as well. So let's do I'm going to do multiplied by size X, and I'm going to change that to 1 times, no, I tell you what, I'm just going to do the maths anyway, and you are going to see how that works. I'm just going to create an int called frame count. Let's make that class level. Int frame count, and let's add that to the constructor as well. You won't know why yet, but trust us. Frame count. So this dot frame count equals frame count. That's that one done, and change that one here to frame count. Okay. I also need to do bring some a delay thing in, but I'm gonna come back and fix this first of all. Right, how many frames is in each one? So I've just said this. The bullet will have 1 frame. I'm not going to have that change. The player has 3 frames. The power up will have 1 frame, and the enemy will have 3 frames. That's silly. Okay, freaked things out a bit because I didn't do that right. Frame count is used just to count how many frames we've got, but I don't want to multiply it by that at all. Right, 0 by size X should give us the first in the frame. Then I change that to 1, and it's a different one. Alright, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. We need a new integer called current frame. But we don't need that in the constructor, and I'm going to multiply by current frame. So current frame is set at 0, and we are going to need a delay. because we want to use that for like frame speed. So let's have if okay, an int for frame speed and an int called I'm gonna have to use delay again. If delay is less than or equal to frame speed, do the following, and the other way around. If delay is less than or equal to frame speed, do the following. Okay. So if it's less than or equal to the frame speed, I want to do delay plus plus, just like we always do. I'm going to set frame speed to 10 for now. And if it is greater than or equal to frame speed, set delay as 0. Okay. And do current frame plus plus. I think that's going to move really, really quickly. I'm going to slow it down. Yeah, actually, yeah, I thought that might happen. I've set frame speed to 10. Let's set that to 100. Just to slow things down. Right, I don't know if you notice that, but the ship, its frames did change because I'm increasing current frame, which is multiplied by size x. Right, okay. That's not quite enough because now I also wanted to loop. If current frame is greater than or equal to frame count, current frame equals 0. Okay, let's run that and see how that looks. This should set it to the end frame once the animation is complete. Sorry, the first frame. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Right, that was exactly what I wanted. Let's now set the frame speed to 10. Well, hey, now we've got a rocket that's got a flame going on. And then, okay, let's set it to 1. That's a bit too much. Okay, let's pull that into the constructor. So we're gonna make it customizable. Int, that was int frame speed. Frame speed equals frame speed. Oh, it was this dot because I got the same name. Okay. Okay, so the enemy class in on the level manager class actually. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's fix some of these errors first. So the speed of the bullet 1. No. Yeah. the speed of the player, 10. The speed of the power up, 1. The speed of the enemy, 15. Hit start, make sure that works. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sprite name of the file name of the enemy. Enemy file name. I think I've added that into the game 1 class. I did, yeah. I'm going to change that to ship as well. Because if you didn't already notice, my ship in Paint, I've got an enemy. I wanted to use another one as an enemy underneath there. So let's hit run now. So now they're the same ship, but although yes, I'm using the same sprite class, so what I need to do is be able to customize what this value is, and I want to call this one, what should I call it? Frame, current frame position, frame Y, column, frame column. Let's do that. Int frame column. Frame column. Change that to frame column. And then frame column. That needs to be in the constructor as well. Int frame column. This dot frame column equals frame column. Okay, so where is that on mine? Where is the position exactly? What's the Y position on there? Looking on Paint, I think that is 25. I think 25 would be a good attempt. So the bullet will be 0 because I haven't got one in there for the bullet. The player will be 0. The power up will also be 0, and the sprite fella will be 25. Hey, you. Okay, maybe not 25. Well, how much is it down? Of 29 down, so of course not. 29, 30, 31. Let's try 31. See how 31 looks. Hey, now we're looking at something. But it's facing the wrong direction. You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to pull out the now the rotation out of the sprite class. So let's pull that one out as well. Rotation. Rotation I have not used. Why have I not used rotation? I have, but it's 0. Set that as rotation. Oh, not rotation. Not rotation at all. What else can we use? We can use Sprite Effects. Okay. Let's create a Sprite Effects object called SF. And again, in the constructor, SF and Sprite Effects, Sprite Effect, SF equals Sprite Effect. That's fine. Let's add these in. So I should just be able to press comma, space, Sprite Effects dot none. Then the player needs a Sprite Effects dot none. Oh, don't need that one on. Then this one, which is the power up, Sprite Effects dot none. I'm just adding more and more, and this is just getting it's not getting out of hand, but there's a lot in there. And I'm going to flip vertically the enemy sprite. Oh, they're not facing the right way. Because if I go on the sprite class, I haven't actually changed that to SF. Oh, look at that. It's class. That is not class. That is the opposite of class. That is atrocious. But that's where rotation can come in. That's where we could do rotation. How are we doing for time? How much of it been on for? Nearly an hour. Right. Your tasks in. Rotate the enemy in level 2. Create your own sprite sheet and include into your game. That is for you to do. Thanks very much. That'll do for today. So we've essentially managed to create animations, which is great. If you do your sprites in Photoshop, you can use the transparent background, and Bonner Game works with transparent backgrounds fine. So give that a go.